So the question I've just been asked, and it's a very difficult question, is should you, with a narcissist, should you fight or not? The lady actually asked me, should you go to battle or not go to battle? Which immediately made me think of the line from Hamlet, to be or not to be, that is the question, whether it is nobler in the mind to, bear the slings and arrows, bear the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or take up arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing end them. I know I made a mess of that, sorry. But it's like that question, should I fight here or not? Which battles are worth fighting and which should I roll over for? Very good question, very pertinent question. For me, there's a difference between what I'm experiencing right now as a personal level, as I shine light on narcissistic behavior patterns in other people's lives, in my therapeutic clients' lives, and in interacting with you guys via YouTube. I'm finding the energy shifting in my own life. Like, other things are coming out of me that have never been there before. All of a sudden new boundaries are being set, and they're being set way out here, where before I'd be like, okay, I'll let you do that, now stop, now it's out here. No conscious thought whatsoever, so I have to internalize that and go, okay, what did I just do? Is it useful? If it is useful, can I strategize it, reverse engineer it, and then hand it on to you guys and go, hey, maybe you should try this because it's worked for me. I found a lot of narcs backing down. I found myself just on autopilot, just speaking to narcissists in a different way. One of the obviously I'm a martial arts instructor first, and one of my favorite authors is a 16th century samurai, a master swordsman called Miyamoto Musashi, and he wrote something called the Book of Five Rings. The five rings are the five elements, fire, water, wind, earth, and in each of the books, of the scrolls that he wrote, there was a different style for handling conflict. And one of his strategies for handling conflict that I've always loved, it's always been one of my favourite ones, is called holding down a pillow. And holding down a pillow, according to this 16th century samurai who's talking about sword fighting, with katanas, these 3-foot razor blades where 1 inch of difference would mean the difference between life and death, which is how they got into the Zen and the increased focus and wanting to be super aware, because you get no fucking second chances when you're both hacking at each other with a 3-foot long razor blade, right? So holding down a pillow as a strategy was about seeing the attacker's intent to attack and cutting that. So I could say, I will wait for your sword to come out, and then you pull your sword and you make an angry face, and I perceive your angry face, and then you come for the swing to cut in. And Musashi's point was, well, why wait until then? Why should I wait until you're in your optimal position? I'm in my weakest position, now I have to draw and I have to defend. He said, just hold down a pillow. The holding down a pillow is, I see your intent to attack and I cut first. Before your hand is even on the hilt, to come with me with the allegory or metaphor, whatever this, it's a metaphor. Come with me on this metaphorical journey into feudal Japan. So as your hand moves to the hilt, even as the thought flickers across your eyes, my hand will move to the hilt, I've drawn and cut you and killed you. And that is the strategy of holding down a pillow. I've seen that come out of me, weirdly, with people I've had problems with for years. In the last month, I'm just saying stuff and they are backing down. They are disappearing up their own bumhole. And you can see the shock in their faces, like, who am I talking to? And it's vilifying. No, it's vindicating. It's not vilifying, sorry. They've been vilifying me. Duh. It's vindicating. It feels good, and at an ego level it feels good, but then upon reflection it's also kind of saddening, because I think, fucking hell, what have I been letting people get away with for all these years? These people have clearly looked at me as a sap, as a nice guy, as some super sympathetic man who they can use and abuse, and now I'm turning around and saying, will you fuck off? Will you please fuck off now? There's a lot of shock there. So things are changing for me personally through this, and I need to understand it first, but I can't give you a blanket answer. Should you, it's very martial artsy this, should you attack or not? Should you fight or not? It's going to come down to you, your social intelligence, your objectives. See, if I may, this is what I teach people in self-defense. I say, context is king. Context. What is the context? Before you start applying a psychology technique in the same way you apply a martial arts technique, define the context first. Context defines everything. Second, define your objectives. You know, this lady who asked me the question, she's talking about her mother, and I'm like, you know, to apply the martial arts model, what's your objectives with your mum? Do you want healing? Do you want to get to a point where, you know, you and her can break through and you know, see some truth, some light, some reasonableness? Do you want to win? Do you want to just feel nothingness? Do you want to feel like you're in control of your own emotions? Your context, your objectives is massively important. Whether you live with her or not is important. How many times a year you need to see her is important. All of these things, they all have to go into the mix. And you've got to say, well, what do I actually want from this? As victims of narcissistic abusers, it's very hard for us to know what it is that we want, because we don't even know who we are. And if you want to scare the shit out of somebody who's been the victim of narcissistic abuse, just get them to ask themselves the question, what do I want? Because the boundaries are porous, they don't even know who the I is. There is no I. And that brings with it a load of its own problems. So, you know, I guess I'm putting this out there not so much as like a instructional teachings brought down from the mountain, this is how you should do whatever. This is more of a debate, philosophical type questioning time to put it over to you guys and say, well, what do you think? Do you think that you should go to battle? Do you think that you should not go to battle? Is that the question? You know, Hamlet frames it as an either or. To be or not to be. That is the question. Whether it is nobler to go to war, to face a sea of troubles, by opposing end them, or whether you just bear the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune you know, with passive grim resolve in a sort of a Gandhi-esque or Christ-like way. You know, what's the narrative that you're using inside your mind? But is this a false dichotomy? I would suggest that perhaps it is. Perhaps it's not always a case of saying, should I go to war or should I say nothing? Maybe you should adopt the mindset of the feudal Japanese old warrior and be a strategist and say, okay, what am I looking for from this situation? Don't come from emotion, don't come from romance, don't come from sentimentality, and say, look, what am I looking for from this situation? And learn to adopt that stance, be detached, be Zen-like, and to quote Eckhart Tolle, do not look for consciousness where there is none. And to quote Ram Dass, if you think you're so enlightened, just go and spend a weekend with your fucking family. We'll see how enlightened you are. It's tough. Nobody's going to deny that it's very, very tough when all of your buttons are being pushed at the same time. So yeah, okay, that's probably enough about that. So thanks for your time and for your attention, and I look forward to your comments and questions and feedback and your suggestions. They're really helping me a lot, so thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And what I'm going to try and do is take what I've taken from you guys, format it, systemize it, and then just give it back here. You know, all for free, all for good karma. We all share in the karmic plus points. That's the idea. That's the hope. Okay, cool. Thanks again, and I'll speak to you soon.